So today we are going to talk about difference between if and where statement. So first difference we're going to talk about is we're going to divide it into the two categories. First one we're going to take when, where wins, and second we're going to take when, if wins. Let's talk about the first one. Where wins. First one is, let's take an example. How to print. I'm gonna in the data set SAS help.class run it simply. You're gonna get all the records that has been displayed in the SAS help.class dataset. Now I use where statement here. Where x is equal to main. And then run it. You're gonna get only main records. Now the same code in it using I used if. It's not gonna run and log, gonna say the recorded statement is not valid or it used up out of proper order. So we use if, you're gonna get this. So first difference is we can use where proc step but we can't use if in proc step. That's the first difference there. Now let's take second example. We're gonna take this example only. Control C, Control V. Same thing, but we're gonna use it in dataset options. We use it in here, we call it a statement, and we used after the dataset like this. and then we run it. So we're gonna get only male values. Now let's do it with if. Same thing, we have gonna do it with if. Let's see what log gonna show the error that invalid option name, because you can't use if in a dataset options. So second difference is you can use where in data set option but can't then use where in dataset option but not if. That's the second difference. Third difference is let's see third difference. Let's create the data set, data test. We're gonna set SAS dot class, and we're gonna give condition where same x is equal to m. Then we're gonna run it. Let's see the data set in work library. We're gonna get test. So we have all male values. Let's see the log. When you see the log, there were 10 observations read from the data set SAS help.class where sex is equal to m. So paste is here. After we run this program, log said that. Let's do test 1. Let's take here f. The both options gonna work in dataset. State where is also gonna work and if is also going to work. But if we look at the log, there were 19 observations read from the SAS dataset SAS help.class. So the difference between where and if, the where is efficient than if statement. It tells the SAS not to read all the observations from the datasets. It only read the observations with the if it's a where sex is equal to m, so it's gonna read only the values of m, like Alfred, Henry's and James. If we give the if in the statement, then it gonna read all the values like that present in the SAS help.class dataset, all the values. Let's see, we printed all this, so it's gonna read Alfred also, Alice also, Barbara also. When we give if statement, only give where statement, then it's gonna only read Alfred. Then after that it's gonna skip the Alice, Barbara, Carol, and it's gonna read Henry. So where is efficient then if in this scenario? So that's the third statement. Like it's the third difference. These are three main differences. Now we are talking about second category, if wins. Let's take some example of the if win. So first, when reading the data using input statement, if a statement can be used when specifying input statement, we can use if statement. So let's take one data, test 3. Let's give input. Let's take ID number, name. Let's take gender. Same as upon. It's a character variable, so let's give $sign. And then we're gonna use cards. One name, let's take A, gender, male. Second record B, gender, male. Third record C, gender, female. Fourth record D, gender, male. And fifth record, last record E, call it female. Then end it, and then we're gonna run it. So we're gonna create one dataset test. So you see the log dataset test 3 has been created. Let's see test 3. See ID, name, genders, we have all that. So let's apply the if statement. So first, if x in m, let's copy this record. If we let's give it test 4. So if we run this, what happened? Variable sex is uninitiated. Let's see, we gave it a gender, we didn't give it a sex. So we're gonna do this and we're gonna run it one more time. We have test 4. We have only male genders. If we use where in this statement, if I use I want both male and female, I want both. So let's see the test 4. We got all the genders, male and female, all the genders. Let's take this example only and do where it. So let's see how it works. Let's give it a test 5. We have 0 observation in test 5. Let's see log, no input data set available for where statement. So we can only use if statement when we performing the no input. If we use where, we're gonna get this error message. So the difference is When we are reading data using input statement, when we are using data with input statement, if statement can be used. Can be used, but not where. This is the first difference. When the if wins, this is the first difference. Let's talk about the second one. So second one, when it's required to execute multiple conditions, we can use it when we require to do multiple conditions. And let's see one example of this. Let's take this data, test 6. We have test file. Let's take the data test 6, and as if you have to give condition, set this data, set test file. Now I don't want the gender as M, F, F, F. I want it as a whole male, female. So what we're gonna do, when if gender equal to M, then gender equal to male. I'm just overwriting the values. Now else if gender equal to F, then we write it as a female. Run. Let's see test 6. It's been wrong. Set test 5 input. Let's take a look around. We have test 5 here. Test 5 has 0 observations. Yeah, we used the wrong data. Let's set test 4 here. Now run it. Let's see log. Let's see test 6. So here we are. If there was M, it converted into the male. If there was female, it converted into the female. So if we use the same example and we write where here, where let's change only one. If we write where gender is equal to male, then gender is equal to M, then gender is equal to male. Let's take this test 7. So if we run it, so we're gonna get 0 observations. See, there is a syntax error while praising the where clause. So if we have to give some condition, we can't use the where. So for conditioning, we have to use only if. So the second difference is when it's required to execute multiple conditions. And even the single condition, you can use where, but not like this. So if we have to execute the two different conditions, so we have to only use the if statement, because if we use where, then it's not gonna work. So for that, in this scenario, the if wins. For to executing the multiple condition, we have to use the if only, and we can't use where, but it's gonna give the error. Same thing after. Now the one thing about the where a statement requires variable to exist in that dataset to read it. So if we move toward the next example, so if you want to create the new variable, then we can use if. We can't create the new variable using where. Let's see the example. So the third difference is when we want to create new variable. So if you want to create the new variable, let's take the dataset, same dataset 4. Dataset 4, this is the dataset. I have just overwritten this gender variable with the gender variable. Now I want to create this gender variable as another, like let's say sex. So I created next column, next variable as a sex, and give all the, like m will be converted to male and f will be converted to female. So let's create one sex variable. So let's take data test, we have up to 7, let's take it test 8. So we gonna set the data set test 4, and we have to create the new variable if gender equal to, let's take this only, if gender is equal to male, then I want to create the new variable as sex. Else if the gender is equal to female, then sex is equal to female. So I want to create new variable as a sex. So let's run it. See, we created a new variable sex, male, female. We got truncation issues. We can handle it by a length statement. Length sex, let's give it 10 dot. Truncated a bit. Stay. See, now we get all the male and female all the variables. So if you want to create the new variable, we have to use, if we can't use where, we can't use where. So these are the three differences in the three scenarios when the if win, and these are the three scenarios where the where win. So this is the important question interviewers ask in the SAS interview questions. So it is important question. So and it's simple also. SAS interview question. So if you want this kind of content, you can comment down and tell me that if you want this kind of SAS interview question series, so I can bring one series, so we can talk about the different interview questions in this series. So this is one of the question interviews mostly ask in the interview when you go to the interviews. So thank you. If you like the class, you can like it and you can subscribe it. It will help me a lot. It will give me a boost to create such types of videos. Thank you for the lecture.